congratulate Department of Social Work, our Department of School Education, of the UT and Save the Children for doing such a good work, and anything that the University of Kashmir can do, we are there to help you or to organize any of the program, because as I feel this is one of the important programs that have been implemented in 300 schools of our UT. And as you see, the new education policy, one of the parameters and stress is given on peace education, and I'm happy that this particular parameter has been taken by Save the Children and our school education department long time back. I was happy to see the themes that are there. 3 technical sessions are there, and very important technical sessions are being conducted. I was so impressed by one of the lines of child champion Misbah, that the training of this peace education she has learned how to be patient. I think this is what peace education teaches us, that we have to be patient in any type of environment, wherever we are, whether we are in a classroom, whether we are amongst friends, whether we are at home. I think she has picked up the right training from the training sessions which she has received. And I'm so happy that Save the Children is working on very important parameters. Number 1 is, of course, the peace education, health interventions are there, child protection rights are there, and again the implementation of Juvenile Justice Act. I think these are very important services that are essential for a child who is future of our nation, and it's all our duty, whether we are teachers, whether we are parents, whether we are administrators, that we look towards their overall development, their overall personality development. I'm so happy. I've long time back been associated with Save the Children from the Delhi platform, but again, University of Kashmir is open for any type of help that you need. I'm happy you have collaborated with our Department of Social Work this year also and last year also, and this is one of the departments which should definitely look into it, because to create a peaceful atmosphere for the development of a child in the school environment itself is very important. And you have picked up a number of schools where this training is being done. I'm happy that, I was just thinking myself whether any training module has come out. I'm happy that this training module has come out, and must have come out after lots of deliberations, after lots of, programs being conducted. You must have identified the trainers by now who will take the work forward in Ladakh and our own UT of J&K. And I'm sure, the type of theme that you have taken over to choose child champions is itself a very good, type of appreciation that you give. Misbah received a certificate right now. She received a felicitation right now. There must be many more such child champions in our UT. Some may be identified, some are not identified, but children are such a soul that if we mold them in the right direction, they can prove to be very fruitful citizens of our country. I think this is what we should all collectively work together, so that our future of the nation is bright and future of our children is bright. With these words, thank you very much, and I congratulate the programmers for this wonderful initiative that has been taken. And as I said, University of Kashmir is committed towards these types of programs, and all sort of help will be rendered wherever we have to intervene. Thank you very much.
small story for my young students who are sitting here. एक बार एक बादशाह ने notify किया कि whosoever depicts peace in a painting और एक ऐसी तस्वीर खींचेगा जो अमन की अक्कासी करेगा. आई एम श्योर आई एम इन ए पोजिशन टू कम्युनिकेट व्हाट आई मीन. उसने बाज़ाब्ता इसके लिए एक नोटिस निकाली, तशहीर इस बात की कि जो भी कोई एक ऐसी पेंटिंग बनाएगा जो बेहतरीन तरीके से पीस की, अमन की अक्कासी करेगा, उसको मैं रिवार्ड दे दूंगा, उसको मैं इनाम दूंगा. तो नेचुरली डिफरेंट आर्टिस्ट्स दे रेस्पॉन्डेड, उन्होंने एंट्रीज अपनी भेज दी. देयर वेर वेरी गुड मास्टरपीसेस ऑफ आर्ट. एक शख्स ने ऐसी तस्वीर खींची जिसमें एक पुरअमन दरिया को, खूबसूरत एक झील या एक दरिया को दिखाया गया था. उसके बगल में एक खूबसूरत पहाड़ी थी, जंगलों से ढकी हुई, बल्कि उसके टॉप पे जिसको हम स्नो कैप्ड माउंटेन्स हैं, snow capped mountains were shown there, and above those snow capped mountains there was a calm sky, blue sky with those white clouds. So it appeared that yes, this person will get the reward. And there was another entry where again there was a mountain, there was a hill, but it was rugged, it was very rough. और उसके ऊपर आसमान दिखाया गया था जिस पे बिल्कुल एक गरजता आसमान था, जिसको हम स्टॉर्मी स्काई कहते हैं. इट वॉज ऑल, सो इट वॉज व्हाट इज अगेंस्ट पीस. सो एवरीबडी थॉट दैट प्रोबेबली द कंटेस्टेंट हैज़ सबमिटेड दिस एंट्री बाय मिस्टेक. शायद गलती से उसने ये पेंटिंग वहाँ भेजी थी. And everybody expected the first one will be the winner. But the wise king had something different in his mind. He picked up the second one for the prize. And everybody got surprised. So what the wise king had noticed in that painting, जो पहाड़ी उस पर दिखाई गई थी, so there was a bush which had grown in the cracks of a rock. जो गरजता आसमान, स्टॉर्मी स्काई दिखाया गया था, उसके नीचे एक जो पहाड़ी दिखाई गई थी, तो उसमें एक रॉक थी, रॉक में एक झाड़ी थी, और झाड़ी पे एक घोंसला था जिसमें एक परिंदा बिल्कुल पुरअमन तरीके से बैठा हुआ था. Knowing this thing, that anything is going to happen at any moment, but the bird was sitting calmly. So that's what the king pointed out. The peace. The peace in that whole painting was depicted by that bird, was unmindful of this thing. Or in other words, there are different lessons which we can draw from this story. Peace, it has to come from inside. My colleagues, Dr. Shazia and probably Dr. Koshki also mentioned about, first, these sociologists, they know it better than me, interpersonal communication, then intrapersonal communication. It has to start from there, from intrapersonal communication. Unmindful कि बाहर क्या है, it should not influence your peace of mind. Let your peace of mind be uninfluenced by all these things.
When we send our wards and children to the crutches at the age of 2 or 1 even, and hand over to the teachers or the caretakers in the crutches in the schools, probably they become the first agencies of socialization. So we, the parents throughout the world, trust the teachers, trust the school administration, trust the infrastructure, trust everything, and hand over our wards to them. Schools or the crutches are the beginners. So probably we need to have a different role and need to have a different education in that sector. I personally also, we are grateful to the Ministry of Education and also to the school education at J&K level. Because when we talk about the peace, we know that the country is heading towards retention and of the students to a different enrollment. Because at developed nations, we see the enrollment of almost 60% at developed nations, and we are still struggling at our own level to the 28 or 29. And we are expecting that by 2030, we must have an enrollment of 35% minimum. And when it comes to the peace education, particular to the security of girl child, and we were seeing that because of the access to the higher schools, access to the elementary schools, the children were not able to go to the school. Mostly the girls students were not able to go for the education at the primary, then at the middle of the higher school level. But we are grateful to the state administration and also to the Ministry of Education for establishing almost primary and middle schools at every nook and corner of the valley and rather of the J&K, so that the education is imparted to our children at every level. That way we are grateful to them. Again, when we come to the peace education, which has been defined already, but probably we may need to explain and explore it to a much higher level. I will not, I am comparing a theory of, though that is that pertains to the employment, but when it comes to the school education, it most probably fits in it also, which has been given by Herzberg. It is the motivation theory for the employees, how to work in any organization. Those are the environmental factors and hygiene factors which encourage an employee to work in any organization. But when it comes to the school level, we say that unless and until we will not provide the secure and peaceful environment to a student, particularly to the girl students in the school, it is not possible for her to continue her studies. And I must, Director School Education has already reminded of certain particular the suicidal issues in schools. But unfortunately, what we have seen very recently in the social media also, particularly about the moral education and the relationship between the teacher and the girl student, which has probably gone to a low level at different places. We must think and we must introspect ourselves so that we can do a little good to the society and to the student level, so that environmental is provided to the students, particularly to the girl students in the school. And probably I was talking about that when we come to the socialization, because we parents, because everybody is there, most of us are parents here, we trust the teachers, we trust me also, because I am also in an educational institution, and you all probably are working in an educational institution. We all trust the teachers and we hand over our wards to them, so that we need to be more cautious, we need to be more peaceful with our students. At our own level in the University of Kashmir, within our resources, we try to, because we are related to the higher education level, but our Department of Sociology and Social Work is doing a wonderful job, and also the Department of Education in training the teachers, and particularly the Department of Social Work and Sociology is carrying certain research and extension activities at the school level. Very recently, Shazia has probably completed this research study on the midday meals in the schools. I think we must also carry a study in the primary and middle schools about the safety and security of the children. I don't know whether she has submitted that project. I would request also Professor Nisaji to submit such projects to the state government level, where we can take such studies at university level.
Peace is a relative term. For me, and it changes from time to time, for me, During these days, peace is if I am away from transfers. And for teachers, peace is if they get comfortable postings. Because we are in the middle of transfer drive. And it changes. Before coming to this hall, peace was to be away from transfers. But entering this hall and then sitting here, it changed. I wanted to be away from this speech. And it changes from time to time. For a student, peace is if he goes happily to the school, he has good snacks in his bag, he has free Wi-Fi and more screen time. These are the things by which we can measure peace. For some tribes, they say we are at peace only when we are at war. For me, Sharif Saab is the symbol of peace. We have started peace curriculum in our schools. In about 300 schools, with the help of Save the Children, we have started peace education. Before 2005, peace education was not in our curriculum. कुछ तो हुआ है कि हमें ये करिकुलम में लाना पड़ा है, इस कुछ पे बात करनी है, इस कुछ पे वर्क करना है, ताकि हम इस पीस एजुकेशन को फिर से अपने करिकुलम में से हटाएंगे. We have to make our schools, we have to make our environment such that our children come happily to the schools, and जिस दिन वो सुबह उठेंगे हंसेंगे कि मुझे स्कूल जाना है, समझ लीजिए यू आर गिविंग देम ए बेटर एनवायरनमेंट. और जिस दिन वो रो रो के उठेंगे और कहेंगे आज मुझे दर्द है, मुझे वहाँ नहीं जाना है, तो समझ लीजिए तो हम इस स्टेज पे कामयाब नहीं है. लुकिंग टुवर्ड्स द प्रेजेंट सिनेरियो, peace education is much needed intervention in our schools because students crave for happy schooling, schooling which is without any fear or stress, schooling that welcomes children with open arms, schooling wherein teachers enjoy good and healthy relationship with each teacher, schooling where there is cordial relationship of teachers and their school heads and accepts them as their leaders. Schooling where there is robust psychosocial atmosphere and ensures sound mental health of students. All these aspirations have been worked out in peace education module that has been introduced in our schools by Save the Children. Understanding the importance of peace education, our department, in collaboration with Save the Children, have implemented peace education in more than 300 government-run schools in Kashmir division and developed the training manuals for teachers, mid-level managers, community members, children, and pool of resource persons have been created to ensure school becomes a happy zone. Peace education has reached to schools through head teachers, community members, and children who were made aware of it by developing their capacities. Through peace education, different stakeholders are aiming to undertake peace education initiatives, safe schooling, and child safeguarding. In classrooms, schools, and neighborhoods, children feel happy, safe while coming to schools. Teachers' attitude towards children has changed, as a result of which there has been 14% increase in the enrollment in government schools. I strongly believe that peace education will help educators to deliver context-specific knowledge and skills to distrust children and teachers with the involvement of communities. As of now, if you are seeing that day in and day out, there have been suicidal cases and the young minds are giving their lives by jumping into the rivers and taking some poisons. And here is the role of media. And media catches these news very nicely. क्या जितने भी मौत यहाँ होते हैं उन सबको ये कैच करते नहीं. अगर कोई लड़की लड़का जालिम से छलांग लगाता है तो दे कैच सबसे नीचे तक. तो मेरी गुजारिश होगी मीडिया फैटर्निटी से कि ऐसे एपिसोड्स को कैच ना करें और ऐसे एपिसोड्स को सोशल मीडिया पर न लाए, ताकि अगर ये 10 दिन ऐसे एपिसोड्स सोशल मीडिया पर नहीं आते हैं, इनको शोकेस नहीं करते हैं, तो आई एश्योर यू कि ऐसे वाक़ात बहुत कम हो जाएंगे. और बिकॉज़ जब ऐसे वाक़ात सोशल मीडिया पे आते हैं तो अदर्स जिनको ये टेंडेंसी होती है उनको वो एग्रीवेट होती है इनकी टेंडेंसी एंड दे डू दिस फैटल जो अल्टीमेट स्टेप होता है वो ये टेक करते. तो गुजारिश यही है मीडिया फैटर्निटी से कि वो भी अपना रोल निभाए पीस एजुकेशन के हवाले से और विल बी ओनली सक्सेसफुल. जैसे सर ने भी कहा कि हम और एक कॉपी और एक पेंसिल बैग में जमा कराने जा रहे हैं. हम तभी सक्सेसफुल होंगे जब ये कॉपी और पेन पीस एजुकेशन हवाले से हम बैग से निकालेंगे और बैग का वज़न कम करेंगे. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
I think I look at peace education as chasing that idea of happiness, of people looking forward to engaging, to children looking forward to go to school, to go to all those platforms which are without boundaries and boundaries which intimidate people. So I think in the process we are trying to discover the whole idea and exploring together. So to me the question came, is peace education one more module? Is it one more extra notebook and book in the bag of children? Most of you who would have children will remember कि already 10-15 किलो का वजन होता है reasonably carrying to school. तो उसमें is peace education one more module? Will there be one more unit test and will there be one more teacher and will there be more pressure? Or exactly, how does one articulate that, explore that? So according to me, actually peace education, the whole idea, the concept is about blending, bringing the various elements of peace into the how and why and what of education. From the time a child leaves home or at home, their surroundings, to going to school, the journey, being at school, engaging with other children, and returning back if at night a child is sleeping with a smile that कल फिर से जाना है और मज़ा आएगा. I think we can consider that peace education is working. So therefore peace education, as Professor Kaushiki you also highlighted, is not an antidote for violence as we may see the physical manifestation. It is across about how one approaches education.
Very simply, peace education focuses on integrating peace concerns in education so as to help build a culture of peace. I can't dwell on all the big words that I'm using, but culture of peace simply means creating an environment or an ecosystem that is geared towards peace. So training in peace education is the first step or the base towards training and building a culture of peace. As part of peace education, teachers are trained in the pedagogy of peace. because peace has to be taught differently. It cannot be taught in a manner in which we are supposed to be doing teaching learning. That's why the pedagogy of peace also is part of the peace education manual. So the pedagogy of peace that helps integrate peace values and concerns, what it does is that the teacher is trained in that pedagogy so that the peace concerns and peace values are brought into the classroom itself. So education for peace, how is it different? So education of peace is different because it is a larger goal. It is a much broader concept in comparison to peace education. Peace education is a very small part, but a very, very critical part of education for peace. So in education for peace, the difference is that in peace education, peace is a subject in the syllabus. When you talk about education for peace, it's the shaping vision of education itself, which means the entire system of education needs to be geared towards peace. So obviously, as you can see, it's a much larger goal and we need to take care of many other things. But that being a larger goal, it does not stop us from pursuing this specific goal of inculcating peace education. Now, last but not the least, very important, I want to dwell on why peace education. So as Sharif Saab said, one thing or one myth that has to be cleared is that it has nothing to do specifically with conflict. Okay, it has nothing, just because there is some conflict out there, you need to bring in peace education. That's not correct. Peace education can be brought in even without having a violent conflict. So why is it then that people tend to bring it only when they think of or when they have conflict around them? The reason being that the absence of peace makes you realize the value of peace, okay? And that's why you start thinking about it. But that does not mean that without the absence of active violence, you cannot, bring in peace education. So how can peace education therefore help? First of all, the schools, as the kids have been saying and others have been talking about as well, schools should be a secure place for children where they can feel safe, both, as was mentioned, physically as well as psychologically. And peace education can help you facilitate that. It also helps you to see alternatives, alternatives to violence, injustice, discrimination, all sorts of stereotypes, prejudices that we normally tend to carry, the baggages that we tend to carry in our day-to-day lives. So peace education helps you to see alternatives to those things. And by the way, this is a concern all over the world. So people at different levels and in different parts of the world are working on ways and means of building peace through education. It is relevant to anybody and everybody. It is relevant in our daily lives. If you are a parent, it will help you become a better parent. If you are a teacher, it will help you become a better teacher. If you are working in any professional setup, it will help you become a better professional. So it improves your relationships and your personal lives. It also makes your professional and work life better. It helps organizations to make decisions peacefully and run them positively.
First of all, I must congratulate and thanks to all the teachers and child champions across Jammu and Kashmir, and they have done an amazing work. And recently we did a evaluation of all the what we have done from the last 2 or 3 years, and it was an amazing result that we got. थोड़ा सा मैं उर्दू में बात करूँगा ताकि बच्चों को भी समझ में आ जाए. तो जितना भी हमने जो प्रोजेक्ट चला पूरे जम्मू कश्मीर में, तो ये पिछले ले से हमने शुरू किया, फिर कारगिल, फिर कश्मीर, अक्रॉस जम्मू कश्मीर में हम एक तो जुवेनाइल जस्टिस एक्ट पे काम किया, फिर हमें पता चला कि वायलेंस के ऊपर क्या क्या बच्चों के ऊपर चल रहा है, फिर हमने सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी इस्लामिया यूनिवर्सिटी के साथ हमने टाइप करके वायलेंस अगेंस्ट चिल्ड्रन पे एक फ़ोटो कर लेके हमने एक थोड़ा सा एक इवेंट ऑर्गेनाइज़ किया है। फिर वहाँ से हमें जो बच्चों का ट्रॉमा समझ में आ गया है कि उनका ट्रॉमा कहाँ तक गया हुआ है। फिर फर्दर जब हमने इनके वायलेंस अगेंस्ट चिल्ड्रन पे काफ़ी ज़्यादा रिसर्च और काम करने के बाद हमें ये लगा कि वी नीड टू वर्क इंटेंसिवली ऑन चाइल्ड प्रोटेक्शन। तो हमने काफ़ी ज़्यादा चाइल्ड प्रोटेक्शन पे काम किया है, चाइल्ड प्रोटेक्शन मैकेनिज्म को खड़ा करने की कोशिश किया है। देन वी स्टार्टेड अ वर्किंग ऑन जुवेनाइल जस्टिस एक्ट। उसके बाद ये जुवेनाइल जस्टिस एक्ट आने के बाद आई मस्ट थैंक्स टू एजुकेशन डिपार्टमेंट, तो उन्होंने एक अपना अंदर एक सेल क्रिएट किया है जिसको उन्होंने चाइल्ड प्रोटेक्शन सेल बिफोर जुवेनाइल जस्टिस एक्ट। तो उनके बाद उन्होंने सारे टीचर को थोड़ा वो ट्रेनिंग दिया है। एंड द फर्स्ट लीडिंग जो हमारे ओवरऑल अनंतनाग ने काफ़ी लीड लिया था इसमें, तो वहाँ पर हमें काफ़ी केसेस निकल के आने लगे कि वो अब्यूज़ चाहे वो टीचर की तरफ से हो चाहे पेरेंट की तरफ से हो। तो फिर हमने सोचा क्यों ना हम वायलेंस को नेगेटिव कॉनोटेशन से हटा के हम पॉजिटिव कॉनोटेशन में हम कैसे ले सकते हैं। देन जब हमने एनसीएफ करिकुलम के साथ थोड़ा बैठा कि कहाँ कहाँ पीस एजुकेशन का है, तो हमें पता चला कि फिर कौशिकी मैडम के नेल्सन मंडेला पीस एंड कॉन्फ्लिक्ट के साथ इंटेंसिवली हमने बैठा कि पीस एजुकेशन को कैसे लाते हैं और उसको क्या करना चाहिए। देन वी रियलाइज पीस स्टार्ट विथ फ्रॉम द माइंड एंड द पीस हैज़ टू स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द माइंड, और वो भी बच्चों से ही स्टार्ट करना है, बड़ों से पीस एजुकेशन नहीं कर सकते। तो हमने बच्चों के ग्रुप के साथ पीस एजुकेशन का थोड़ा सैम्पलिंग के हिसाब से काम करने का शुरू किया, जो बच्चों का ग्रुप बनाया है। तो उसके साथ हमने एक मॉड्यूल के ऊपर काम करना शुरू किया जो बच्चों के ऊपर, और थैंक्स टू एजुकेशन डिपार्टमेंट। तो सबसे पहला अप्रोच अगर हम कहीं भी कहें कि चाइल्ड सेफ गार्डिंग पॉलिसी इन इंस्टीट्यूशन जो अभी मेरे हाथ में है, तो पहला इंट्रोड्यूस JNK में हुआ है और उसके ऊपर उन्होंने काम इंटेंसिव काम किया है। और उसके बावजूद उनका ये होगा कि किस तरीके से हम कॉर्पोरल पनिशमेंट को ज़ीरो लेवल पे लाया जाए, तो उस पर भी काफ़ी ज़्यादा एफर्ट का है।
We believe that being the highest seat of learning, University of Kashmir has a greater stake and the responsibility to take ahead the agenda of peace education in the UT of J&K, and hence Save the Children, with the close coordination of Directorate and the Department of Social Work, we are trying to ensure a better childhood for a better future. The conference is divided into 3 main panels. The first day the panel will discuss on why there is a need of a peace education. The next day we have a panel discussion on school safety and school security. And my dear friends, school safety has been for a long time only being considered from infrastructural point of view. Is my building safe? Is the playground safe? But safety is not only physical infrastructure. Safety is also psychological, social things. And the last theme will talk about the child safeguarding policy. So this is all about the conference. I once again welcome all the guests. I know that it's very difficult to name each and every one and to keep a track of all the guests here. But still, if I have missed someone, I'm really sorry for that. I welcome you once again. Thank you very much.
नौवीं जमात की तालिब इल्म हूँ और मैं अपने स्कूल में चिल्ड्रंस ग्रुप की मेंबर हूँ। सबसे पहले तो मैं ये बोलना चाहती हूँ, पीस एजुकेशन है क्या? ये एक ऐसी तालीम है जो हमें एक दूसरों के साथ मिलजुल कर रहना सिखाती है, एक दूसरे के जज्बातों की कदर करना सिखाती है, एक दूसरों की इज़्ज़त करना सिखाती है, जिससे एक बच्चा अच्छा शहरी बन सकता है और अपने मुल्क को आगे ले जा सकता है। पीस एजुकेशन जब से हमारे स्कूल में आया है, तब से मुझ में, मेरे स्कूल में, मेरे घर में और हमारे माहौल में बहुत सी तब्दीलियाँ आई हैं। जहाँ तक मेरी बात है, मुझ पे पीस एजुकेशन के ज़रिए सबसे पहले तो ये तब्दीली आई, मुझ में इत्तेफाक और बर्दाश्त बढ़ गया। इत्तेफाक ऐसे बढ़ गया, चाहे वो मेरे भाई बहन हो, मेरे उसातीज़ा हो, मेरे वालिदैन हो, मैं अब सबकी इज़्ज़त करती हूँ। बर्दाश्त ऐसे बढ़ गया, पहले मैं अपने दोस्तों के साथ, अपने भाई बहनों के साथ बहुत ज़्यादा लड़ती और झगड़ती थी। जब से हमारे स्कूल में पीस एजुकेशन के ज़रिए हमारी तरबियत हुई, तब से मैं उन्हें समझाती हूँ कि हम मिलजुल कर भी रह सकते हैं, हम प्यार मोहब्बत से भी रह सकते हैं। अब अगर किसी बच्चे को कोई तकलीफ़ या परेशानी होती है, हम पूरा चिल्ड्रंस ग्रुप मिलजुल कर एक दूसरे की मदद करते हैं। हमारे स्कूल और हमारे हमारे वालिदैन के दरमियान एक फ़ासला था, वो धीरे धीरे ख़त्म होने लगा। हमारे वालिदैन को भी वक्तन फ़वक्तन हमारे स्कूल बुलाया जाता था, उनकी भी तरबियत हुई, जैसा कि उन्हें समझाया जाता था कि बच्चों की बातों को नज़रअंदाज ना करें, इनकी हर ज़रूरत पूरी की जाए और इनके सामने कोई भी ऐसे लड़ाई या झगड़ा ना करे जिस पे इनके जहन और इनकी तालीम पर बहुत बुरा असर पड़ता है। आज हमारे और हमारे वालिदैन के दरमियान जो रिश्ता था वो और मजबूत होता जा रहा है और हमारे घर की हालत भी धीरे धीरे सुधरने लगी है। हमारे उस्तातिज़ा की भी तरबियत हुई, जिससे हमारे स्कूल के माहौल में बहुत सी तब्दीलियाँ आई। हम अब अपने उस्तातिज़ा के सामने हर कोई बात आसानी से रख पाते हैं और वो भी अब हमें समझने लगे हैं और उनके रवैये में भी धीरे धीरे बदलाव आ रहा है। हमारे स्कूल में रिलीजियस मेंबर्स का भी ग्रुप बना जो हमें पीस एजुकेशन की तालीम को और आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं और हमारे माहौल में अब बहुत सी तब्दीलियाँ आई हैं। मैं कश्मीर के हर बच्चे की तरफ से आए हुए हर मेहमान से ये अपील करती हूँ कि पीस एजुकेशन हर बच्चे और हर स्कूल के लिए ज़रूरी है। हम तो स्कूल जाते हैं तालीम के लिए, पर हमारी बेहतर तरबियत के लिए भी पीस एजुकेशन का होना बहुत ज़रूरी है। शुक्रिया।
A very important area on which we need to have deliberations and discussions, and this is in continuity with the previous program organized by the department and the Director of School Education last year, where Honorable Vice Chancellor presided over that whole program. I am reminded of a very important poet, William Wordsworth, who says that child is the father of man. And if we interpret that, what it actually means, it reflects you can have a good adult, a peaceful adult, provided what are the opportunities, the knowledge, education you have given him at the childhood stage. And today when we are talking about peace education, it's very important that our education institutions, schools, teachers become the places or the peace zones where the peace education is transformed to them. An important idea about this whole peace education is to how to establish a culture of peace. And that culture of peace is very important, which can be rooted in our daily routine activities, from the time when the child is born to the process of socialization to educational institution, becoming an individual who knows how to resolve conflicts within himself, with others. In other words, we say peace with himself, peace with others, peace with the community, peace with the society as a whole. And it is in that context that the department has clubbed with the Directorate of School Education and Save the Children to organize this 2-day national conference, where the eminent experts have been invited from different parts of the country and within our UT as well. A collaborative exercise, experts from schools, child champions who have been part of various projects implemented by Save the Children will be highlighted.